2, 1.
Oh my gosh, that was so epic.
I think that's it.
There he is.
You guys ready? Let's pull it.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh. Hey! And JB's on there!
600!
600! Yes! Yay! 600 mile time. That would be just.
So here we are, back with the real Supercharger. Okay, we are on the test track.
I'd recommend putting your head on the headrest.
Okay.
There he's ready. Nope.
Yep. Oh, there it goes. Oh, that never gets old either. We have the post-study production cars here.
Wait, what?
Yeah, oh yeah, you watch it.
Well, why is he gonna throw it?
I don't know, but we're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Just use a sledgehammer. What?
Well, maybe that was a little too hard.
I'm Eric, otherwise known as Derek, here in Shanghai at Gigafactory 3.
Ballapalooza. It's like tricks.
3, 2, 1.
Will it wipe is the big question of the day.
Will it wipe?
Generic cornflakes.
Whoa! It's raining cornflakes! Oh. This is trippy. Look, there's nothing here. Welcome everybody. Happy January 10th, first and foremost. We're here. It's been an amazing week. A lot to talk about. I mean, a little bit to talk about.
Lots of Tesla news. Though.
Lots of Tesla news.
Big Tesla news.
That's why you're here, hopefully. So we'll just go ahead and jump into it. And then there's going to probably be a longer session in the back and less news so we can talk about stuff. And then, yeah, we'll probably be here for like an hour, hour and a half. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you. Subscribe. Click that like button. We love you all. And, yeah, wow, 113 of you already. Okay, cool. Wow.
Yeah, we're starting a little early today.
Yes,
but like we typically do, we're going to talk about some Tesla news at the beginning. Then we'll open it up for questions and answers session.
Bingo. So we're going to jump right in the news. So if you have any questions, if you can try to hold them until afterwards. Sometimes I get to them during the news section. Sometimes I don't. Someone's saying, "Where's the new puppy?" I'll get to this real quick.
Yeah.
If you saw my Instagram, my Facebook stories, whatever, there's a new puppy that was posted. I would like to just say, it's not my puppy, although I'd love to have it. It's adorable. It's actually my parents' new puppy that they got from a rescue. So, congratulations, Mom and Dad. Your new child is beautiful. Child, can we say that? Sure, why not? Anywho, yeah, someone got the Floby out. Yes. We got haircuts this week. I got into a scuffle.
Oh, yeah.
Scuffle. Hopefully you guys can't see that because normally you see my right side. Anyway, let's get right into the news. Starting first and foremost, if you have lived under a rock, Model Y now has a standard range option as well as a 7-seat option.
Yeah, and the 7-seat option's been, on Tesla's website since the beginning, like in 2 years ago, year and a half, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But they haven't made any deliveries of those yet. But now they've updated it to indicate those should be doing deliveries here in the coming weeks.
Yeah, so you have your standard range. It's gonna start at 42,000. Don't use the price up here because that uses their potential savings. I don't like how that is. And then the long range is 49.9. So I mean, you have like an $8,000 delta for, I don't know, 80 miles. I don't know if that's, it's like 10 miles per $1,000.
Yeah, but there's some other changes too. Of course,
Yeah.
dual motor versus a single one,
Oh yeah, that too.
and other changes.
And then here, I don't know. We'll talk about it a lot more towards like the end and everything, but I'm very curious to know what people's response is about this 7-seat option and how it actually looks, which of course here they don't have any pictures, but you can see where like seatbelts are, but like, I don't really care for the 7-seat option. I'm going to be straight up with you, but we'll get to it in a few minutes. Thank you, Alan, for the $5 super chat. There it is. What? Turn that down just a little bit. That was kind of loud. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate it. He said, "What a delightful alternative to American regular TV." Yeah.
It's
Thank
been a
you.
crazy week.
It's a delight for us to be here because you can only take so much of the regular news. Anyhow, so the 7-seater, I think it's going to be really tight in those back seats personally. And we don't have like any little kids or anything that would fit back there. If we have adults, it's probably not going to be super comfortable for them. So for me, 7-seater isn't something I would pursue. I don't know. We can talk about it later though and see what y'all think. Next up, so this was an interesting piece that I found. It was actually on Twitter, and it's Model Y related, so I know you guys are going to love it. But Tony said he got a Model Y with a single rear casting. VIN 97,000, delivered 12/23. So here, this section right here is where you kind of want to look at. There used to be a piece here, and I think there was something here, but it was like welded over. And this piece welded the two halves together, but now it is one continuous piece. So that's kind of exciting.
Did he take his trunk apart just to check on that, or was he?
He installed the foot sensor for the rear hatch.
Okay, because I was like, wow, that's a lot of dedication to check to see if you have a single piece casting to take your car apart like that.
I mean, we would have done it too.
Yeah.
To be 100%.
We've done
honest.
it before. Yeah.
But yeah, they were doing the rear foot sensor, so they had this apart, and actually you can see right there, single piece is truly being made. There's some speculation about maybe that hasn't gone in yet, but this goes to show you it has. Now, whether or not they're doing this for all cars or all Model Ys right now, we don't know, because Tesla does sometimes mix two different variants of parts together until they can use up some, or I don't know, just make sure that the single piece casting is working 100%. But it is cool to see that's in place, because as soon as they can roll that out to Model 3, maybe even S and X potentially, I really think that will help their bottom dollar. Next up, sorry, buttons, I missed. Cheaper Chinese Tesla coming. So
At least to China. We don't
At least
know,
to China.
We don't know if it'll be exported to Europe or the United States, but there was word the past week that we don't know if it's going to be called the Model 2 or what, but a cheaper, made in China, designed in China Tesla is on the horizon. And I think it's based upon the Model 3 frame.
Yep.
It's going to be smaller and, cheaper.
And for those of you that have been messaging me or tweeting me asking, if I'm gonna get one, I'm gonna research it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because I know that we're not going to
be
be able,
fun.
can't like put it on carry-on luggage or check baggage as we did when we brought home that first set of Gemini wheels. But there's probably some way to get one here. But then we'd have all sorts of charging problems probably because they have different charge ports over there in China.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we're waiting to see what happens with that. But supposedly it's gonna come in 2022, which is right around the corner. To be honest, I mean, 2020 flew by. I imagine 2021 will as well. So that's kind of interesting for the Chinese market. But also, I would imagine if it works well there, they might try to bring a smaller model to the European market. European streets are very small. A lot of those are very old and they can't be expanded. So I know when I was driving around like Amsterdam and Germany and stuff like that, a lot of those streets were really tiny. And I had a big car and it was not fun. So I think a smaller car there would actually be a big hit as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what it looks like. I'm guessing it'll be a hatchback, but you never know.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a hatchback. Yep. Next up, so we have the NHTSA, which is the National Highway
Transportation Safety Administration.
That's the
Basically,
one.
they finally did release the results of their study, and they said that studying they had like 232 complaints, but they did, lots of studying, and they found that there was no evidence of any sudden unintended acceleration. For those of you who don't know, over the years, a lot of people have reported that when they were in their Tesla pulling into a parking spot, they slammed into the car ahead of them, or they went through the back wall of their garage. But in all those cases, they said that it was unintended acceleration. But Tesla logs all of that, and in every single case, it's been found that the driver pushed the wrong pedal.
Yeah.
And while many people said they were pushing the brake, the logs show that they were actually pushing the accelerator. And there's others who work outside of Tesla. We know several people who have checked these logs as well. They offer to be independent, third party to check these log results. And in every single case, they found the driver pushed the wrong pedal. One of them even has like a $10,000 bet if he analyzes your logs, if he can prove that
The logs prove
that you didn't do that, then he will pay you $10,000. But that's a really safe bet for him because the way that the hardware is set up, it's not possible. And we've shown in previous videos that if you push the brake and the accelerator at the same time, there's no way that the accelerator can override the brake. So for anyone who claims those sudden unintended acceleration events, they're basically they're mistaken. They pushed the wrong pedal.
Yeah, I believe it's Green the Only on Twitter that has that open bet.
No, it's
who's that?
Jason Hughes.
Oh yeah, that's Hughes that has the bet. But both of them are popular Tesla. Can we call them hackers?
Yeah, but he doesn't do the logs. The engineer is another
Right.
one out in California and stuff that analyzes the logs and stuff.
Yeah.
But Jason Hughes is the other one, WK057. He is the one with the open offer. If the logs prove that it wasn't a misapplication of the pedal, then he will pay you $10,000.
Yeah, and I completely understand accidents happen, and Teslas are a vehicle that if you mash the accelerator, like you were trying to mash the brake to stop in a hurry, and you accidentally hit the wrong pedal, it's gonna try to take off on you.
It's instant power.
I mean, to try to pawn that off on Tesla is pretty shady because clearly these 230 something complaints, every single one of them was found to have zero merit.
Yeah, and again, with one problem too with maybe electric cars is they're so quiet.
True.
That you're not expecting it to
And it's
accelerate.
instant.
And it's instant. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anywho, I was glad to see that was dropped. That might have been an influence on the Tesla stock price this week.
I don't know if that
maybe
was the
there was
case,
a lot
but
of good
There was
news.
a lot of good news, and that led to those record high, all-time high stock prices. It has gone up like a couple $100, I think, just in 1 week.
Yeah. So, $880 is what it closed at on Friday. So we can get a clap in chat for all you Tesla shareholders. Now, think of it this way: pre-split, that would be
Like 4,000,
Over.
4,400 or so, something like that, right?
that is wild. Yeah. It's like 4,300 and
Close, yeah. But that's amazing.
$20,
Yeah.
I think. Ooh, hopefully that's right. But anyway, that's just wild to me. And then now everyone's been asking me, when is it going to hit 1,000? When is it going to hit 1,500? And I mean, at this point, we might see 1,000 this week.
Hopefully it continues to go up. I'm hoping it goes
Yeah.
up, of course, but I know a lot of people are missing out on they're waiting for a correction and for the price to go
Yeah.
down, but I don't know. I'll be happy if it just keeps
And
going
see, we've been talking, and I've been trying to throw some more money and everything into it as I can, and I've been waiting for a little dip, and there's no dip. It just keeps going up. So like every day, it's like, wow, if I would have bought it a week ago, I would have made this much, or this much. Or this
I know,
much.
just on between
Exactly.
Monday and Friday, anyone could have made so much money had they known it was going to skyrocket that much. in one
Exactly.
week.
So anyway, I increased my position on Tesla. It's been great. I'm loving it. And I guess kind of like in terms of that too, stock price wise, NIO is also record highs basically, and almost $60 a share.
Much more affordable.
Much more affordable. And if you got into it really early, it was real nice.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of riding that out. A lot of people are saying 11 positive days in a row for Tesla record.
Yeah.
That's wild. Every day for 11 days it's been up. So cool. And then we have an
Just a
update on the CCS adapter
Yeah, we
that
get
we've
some
been talking about.
we get some questions, especially in chat. A lot of people have been interested in the CCS adapter because we mentioned a couple weeks ago Tesla's going to be coming out with a CCS adapter in South Korea, and they already have it in Europe, but they don't have anything in the United States yet.
Yeah.
We know some people have already. There's basically a third-party company, CTEK, that came out with their own CCS adapter, which they are now selling online. You can get it through. In the United States. I've heard a lot of people have purchased already, but it's not working so smoothly. So if you're interested in it, you might want to hold off a little bit. It does sound like these people who are receiving that CCS adapter, they've been testing it. Some of them, it does not work at all. Other ones, they've been able to work and get it charged slowly. Sounds like CTEK is interested. They weren't able to send someone over to test it in the United States with the CCS adapter, with the CCS charging stations here. So it sounds like these earlier buyers are actually having to do that work for them, and they're hooking up their computers and they're doing all logging, sending the logs back to the company, and they're coming out with firmware updates which are updating the adapter, but it's still not that great of an option. Seems like, I think the highest charge rate I've seen so far has still been less than 50 kilowatts, which is even slower than what you would get with Tesla's own CHAdeMO adapter.
Yeah.
So we think, with Tesla's adapter that they have in Europe, they can get almost 3 times as much on a CCS charger in Europe. So hopefully when Tesla comes out with their CCS adapter in the United States, they'll be able to get closer to 120, 150 kilowatts instead of less than 50 with the CTEK adapter. So anyways, if you're looking at that, you might want to hold off. We've looked at it. We thought about getting one, but we didn't want to be the guinea pigs because it didn't look like it was up to par so far. So you might want to hold off on that if you're not wanting to help troubleshoot the issue with them. You might want to hold off.
Yeah, I personally holding off, but also for me, I don't ever really go anywhere besides using the Tesla Supercharger network.
The nice
so
thing,
for me, it doesn't really make sense to have.
For us, for our travels, Superchargers cover the route almost entirely. There are some parts of the country or in Canada or other places where there aren't as many Superchargers, and CCS would be a benefit. But for us, we don't really have the need, and we're not going to spend $600, $700. I think they raised the price. It was originally like $685 or something. I think it's closer to $1,000 now, and so it's not worth it for an adapter that doesn't work.
Yeah, that's my attitude exactly, and that's a big ask for a charger, and to be able to make that worthwhile,
especially when
it's going to take a long time.
But especially when considered that Tesla's own CHAdeMO adapter is like $400, and it will charge at about the same speed as that. So,
Yep. And then we just have our solar update.
Yeah, just a quick solar update. We're in the second week of January. Did okay. We actually had a day where we had more production than usage, and another one where it almost broke even. Not a huge production week. We had 300 kilowatt hours. It averaged about 43 kilowatt hours a day. We did have a snowstorm, and so that blocked like almost all production on Saturday. Got out there today though, and I cleared off a couple of the panels, but then the sun came out and we had a really good solar production day again today. And we're not really going to do a yearly update because it's the beginning of the year, and we only have like 2 weeks, so we won't go into that. But
Yeah, it'd be pretty lame so far for this year.
And we are going to be having that solar video. A lot of people asked about that. We mentioned it. We were waiting until the start of the new year, and we're going to have a solar like recap video telling about the last year and the last 2 years that we've had solar and how we had virtually no electric bill all of last year.
Yeah.
A couple of months, and that was about it.
Yeah. And then real quick, Alan Cruz, thank you for the $2 super chat. He said next stock jump is when we see S and X lines resume. Well, now that we're basically done with the news,
Good transition.
Yeah, great segue. So thank you, Alan. Now that we're basically done with the news and everything, we want to talk about that because we've mentioned in a video that we did a $100 gamble and reserved a new Model S.
Yeah, that was like last week.
And so...
Well, you might want to explain a little bit more about that. Basically, in Europe, Tesla raised the price on the S and the X by like 5,000, I think it was euros or pounds. I still can't remember. But basically, they raised the price, and they were telling people that it's because they're in high demand. But then they were also discounting any inventory cars that were already there. So it doesn't make any sense to raise prices if you want to sell those vehicles. And so basically, they also said it's going to be 2-3 months for Europe just because they have to ship them over there. But we basically did this $100 gamble on reserving a Model S just because we wanted to be locked in at the old price range. So basically what it is when Tesla does make a change, or if they do, they haven't had a lot of price increases, but when they have, if you have already placed an order, you're locked in at the older price and you still get the new vehicle at the old price.
Exactly. Real quick, Daryl, thank you for the $2 super chat. Said what's happening for the S and X refresh. Great timing as well. So basically on that, we made a video and we kind of talked about it a little bit last week. We went ahead and reserved a new Model S, hopefully refresh, and supposedly the lines are going to start back up tomorrow. S and X lines. They've been down for 18 days, which is a very long time. And if you know anything about Elon or have followed him through the pandemic last year, he doesn't like lines being shut down. So the fact that they're shutting it down for 18 days is very suspect.
And you know, at the end of the year, they do always shut the line down to make changes, but typically, 7 to 10 days. I don't think we've ever seen an 18-day voluntary 18-day shutdown.
Exactly. And it's time that we see a refresh. So, I mean, we've been very good this year. Tesla stock has treated us very, very well. We haven't been able to really do any vacations, so we've saved money there. We haven't been to the casino in over a year, so we've saved money there. So we decided, why not? Let's go ahead and do this $100 gamble on the Model S refresh, because in my eyes, the price would be going up if it is truly refreshed. Keep in mind, though, that $100 order reservation is non-refundable.
And it doesn't sound like it's transferable now
either. And it's
either,
not transferable.
In the past, when we ordered the first Model X that we had back in 2019, we made some changes at the last minute, and then we were able to move the deposit on that one over to a different Model X that they had. But this case now, it's not transferable.
Yeah, so what we ended up doing after some long discussions,
we were thinking, wait a minute, we don't need another Model S. We already got two Model S's.
Right now we have a Plaid on order, or reserved, and we have the new, or another 2021 Model S on reserve, and we were like, do we really need all these S's? And we were talking about it, and we kind of missed the Model X a little bit.
So
we did another $100 on a Model X, hoping for a refresh. So, I mean, that's where we're at right now. Our Tesla account looks stupid. I'm not going to lie. I tweeted about it. It was funny.
I think we have like 10
right now,
we
like the main account, we have 2 Roadsters, founders reserved on there. We have 2 Cybertrucks, 2 S's, and an X. God, that's stupid. But anyway, here we are. So hopefully we hear something soon. If they are doing a refresh and if it's going to be something major, I would expect to hear about this by tomorrow.
Yeah, sometime this week.
I can't think like they could push it more than a few days.
Yeah, because if they're starting up production again, the employees are going to see
spy shots will happen.
Yeah, and they're going to have to update the website to make announcement of any changes. If we see a big jump in like the range, then that's going to be probably, it could be battery chemistry, slight battery change. We're not expecting the 4680 battery cells, but if they do it, it's probably going to be because the heat pump might be finally making its way to the S and X.
Yeah, but like we were talking about it today, and all things considered, I don't think a heat pump would require an 18-day shutdown. That seems kind of long, to me at least. And we've been talking about refreshes, and there have been bits and pieces dropped from factory workers here and there. Mind you, it has been going on for 2 years.
Yeah.
We've been seeing leaks.
We saw the leaks.
So
we heard about the first one. It was like 2 years ago. It was in 2019 when we heard from a friend that there were major changes coming to the S and X. But they were delayed because they were focusing on getting the Y out. And then we had some slowdowns with stuff last year, but something's coming. We just don't know if it's going to be this week or next quarter.
Yeah, so I just don't know, but we went ahead. We put down $200 in total. All things considered, though, would we get the S and the X at the same time? No. Probably not.
I'm still pretty happy because with my S100D, it's almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years old in 2 months, and it's still like new. We haven't had any problems with it. It's since we got the hardware upgraded to Autopilot 3 full self-driving, also got the MCU 2. It's almost the same as the current 2021 Model S. The only thing is the current one has slightly more range and a slightly improved air suspension. But other than that, they're the same car.
Exactly. And let's see what some people are talking about here. Pete, welcome, said, you think there's a chance Model S will get a refresh? But X will probably be mostly left alone aside from the dash maybe. With Y and X, the market seems really narrow now. I agree, but a lot of people, because I've been talking about this with a lot of friends and family and everything, and a lot of people still really want that X. A few things, though, that we were considering that they might change with the X is I would like to see the 6-seat option with the middle row that you can still fold those seats flat to increase storage space. Yeah,
because we had the Model X 6-seat for a short time, but we loved it. And there's so much room in there. We didn't need a 7-seater, but that was a benefit is that you could fit a lot longer people, and you had more leg room, definitely.
Yeah.
Than on the 7-seater.
Yep.
For those people in the third row.
And then, obviously, we want to see that interior. I see JG just said put normal doors back on the X. That would actually kind of kill it for me.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Unless they're going to modulate the price with that. Because if they keep the price the same and take away those Falcon Wing doors, that wouldn't jive well with me.
Yeah, and I think that would be a major undertaking just because the doors they would have to redesign the whole car.
Basically.
And while we're expecting something to change, that would be a huge change, and I don't know if they would want to spend that much money because then they'd have to do all the crash tests and do everything over again.
Yeah, exactly. I would hope they wouldn't go that route. Real quick, Brian with the $5 super chat, thank you very much, said that there's a sighting of a different looking Model S near Tesla HQ. Have you guys seen that? Yeah, I was tagged in that a bunch. But like looking at it, I took pictures of our Model S, and I just don't really see anything different.
It's not a huge
besides the chrome. So a lot of people are saying it had wider fenders. I didn't see the wider fenders. I think it was just the fact that it was a gloss blue car, the sun.
Well, also the camera angles,
the camera angle, and everything
lens they have. You never know.
Yeah,
I didn't see a huge difference.
The things I did see is a different rear bumper. The bottom portion of that, the diffuser, was different. And also the side of the vehicle seemed to have gotten rid of that chrome stripe under the doors, which I don't like that. I'm going to be straight up. I never liked that. So I don't like the chrome trim. The diffuser, meh. But it did appear that it might have the horizontal screen in that car. Someone zoomed in really, really well, like went full-blown NASA photo analysis on it. And it kind of looked like it had a horizontal screen, which is what we want. It
also looked like it had a maybe slightly different version of the Arachnids, but they were very similar to the Arachnids.
Yeah, to me they looked the same.
Again, it could have been the camera, the distortion from the camera lens.
Yeah, to me they looked the same.
But
same
still not
with the fenders.
But still not a huge difference. So we're hoping if it's going to be like that, that's not a big enough change that we're going to take delivery of it. Because again, my 2017 is almost the same as the current 2021 coming off the line. It's not a lot of difference.
Yeah, and I guess that being said, maybe we'd still get the X because I do.
We
miss
don't
the
have
X.
an X right now.
Exactly, and then we can bring sexy back because we have the S, we have the 3, we have the Y, but we're missing the X. So this is going to cost a lot of money for a meme.
Yeah,
worth it.
but if we'd have to get rid of one of the S's though in order to fit that X in the garage.
Yeah,
but definitely we could spell it out there.
Yep. Another $5 super chat. Khalil, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Please correct me if I am wrong. Said, did you guys earn the 2 Roadsters through referrals? So we actually did. And thanks to anyone here that has used our referral code or anything like that. Really appreciate all you guys. But basically, we were able to earn 4 Roadsters from people using our referral
Eric's
code.
got 2, and I've got a couple.
Yeah.
Well. They're still adding this second one to my account.
Yeah. So really appreciate anyone who has supported the channel and everything. Yeah, really appreciate everyone who has. But yeah, I see some people saying this is a pre-recorded live stream? No.
No,
I mean,
we're just behind on the questions just because
Yeah.
we go over the news at the beginning, so it takes us a while to get caught back up on chat.
Yeah.
And for those of you asking about the referral program, they don't give away Roadsters or any kind of great physical prizes anymore. Basically, all the referral program has now is like 1,000 miles of free supercharging, and you also, if you already have like free unlimited supercharging, like an older owner, then you can be entered into a drawing. Actually, everyone's entered into a drawing. They have like quarterly and monthly drawings to win a Model Y or a Roadster, but that's very small chance of winning. But they're not giving away prizes if you do referrals anymore.
exactly. Joshua said they should put the 2170 cells in S and X. That would be a potential good idea to help increase range.
I just don't see them doing that because if they're going to switch to the 4680 later in the year,
yeah, true.
I don't think they're going to do a new battery pack. It would be nice. It would be really nice if they had a new battery pack that did have the 4680s now, even if they don't have the body changes like we know are going to be necessary for the Plaid version. It wouldn't take much to slap some new battery cells into a slightly modified battery pack, because we've seen in the past the battery pack can come off very quickly.
Yep.
And in the future, Tesla's going to be making battery packs that fit the S and X for years to come, and so it only makes sense to they can use newer batteries and just fit them into that same form factor.
Yeah, I agree with that. The official Justin Wong said, have you guys gotten your rebate yet? Almost 9 months now, and $4,500 check is still being processed. Clean vehicle rebate project applied on March 30th, 2020 when I got my Model Y.
Was that for California?
I think
or-
that might be we're actually in Colorado, so I'm not familiar with that. I don't know if anyone in California has gotten that. If you want to comment in chat, that'd be great.
In Colorado, they have the state tax credit, but basically you just file your taxes and you get it back within a couple months. And we got ours on the ones that we purchased in 2019. Yeah.
Yep. And then WF's Media says, any info for everyone waiting on the long range rear wheel drive? Why?
I think they're just gonna have the standard range, right?
Yeah, so right now if you want rear wheel drive, it has to be standard.
Yeah.
There's no rear wheel drive long range.
And
I honestly, like, being that it's an $8,000 difference between the standard range and the
I don't think they're gonna have a
long range, and being that you get all wheel drive with that, I don't know if business wise, this is from business point, I don't know if it really makes sense for them to do that. Now, I don't know how they're going to handle people that reserve that.
Yeah.
That's going to be the issue.
That's another thing that's missing. People have noticed who had placed orders like 2 years ago in March of 2019 when they first did the unveiling of the Model Y. They said that the performance would be available with a 7-seat as well, but that's currently not an option. So some people are being contacted by Tesla. They were told they need to make a decision. Do they want 7 seats or do they want performance? And they have to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
So I would guess that it's probably going to be the same with the long-range rear-wheel drive.
Yeah,
It's
which
probably
I
going
mean,
to be you have to choose either all-wheel drive or go down to standard range.
yeah. Next up, so some questions about Cybertruck, when it's going to be delivered. So actually, if you look on Tesla's website, the single motor rear wheel drive is expected to begin production in late 2022. The dual motor is late 2021, as well as the tri-motor.
Wow, so that's still later this year.
It could potentially be this year. Now, I see some people saying probably not till 2022, but I recently saw some of the photos from the build out there, and it's wild. They are putting that factory up so crazy fast. I'm still hopeful for this year, to be honest.
Does it say starts production or does it say deliveries begin?
It says
because technically
tri-motor production is expected in late 2021.
so they could actually start production but not actually deliver until early 2022.
True.
But it'd be interesting if we see with the Model 3 when they rolled it out, they did a smaller batch and pushed those out to employees first. Be interesting to see if they put out 1,000 of them or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah. Lemony Pie. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate it. Said, hey guys, I have an S75 at the end of its 4-year finance in March. Really excited about the Refresh S. Do you think it will come to the UK too? I actually think UKs are going to start being built this week.
Well, that's what we're thinking.
Because that's what Tesla does
Typically.
beginning of every quarter. They always build cars, S and X specifically, now that they have other factories for the others, for overseas deliveries. So normally the first month of a quarter is building cars to be shipped to pretty much everywhere besides North America. So the fact that they're going to be starting that next week, those cars are going to start being produced and get ready to be shipped over, and the fact that you had seen the $5,000 increase in price for, I believe it was UK as well.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing a different S for US versus other markets.
Also, the expected delivery time, if people were placing orders for the past month, it was in March.
Yeah.
The delivery. So, even though there were some inventory models available, they were telling everybody that did have that price increase, it's going to be in March. So there's a good chance that
Yeah.
you'd be on the first shipload out. So it's good that your lease is ending about the time. So I guess wait another couple weeks, don't place an order yet or whatever, but hopefully we're getting some news here in the coming weeks.
Definitely. I'm super excited to hear about it. I see Pierre said Cybertruck will have a 17-inch screen. Maybe that's coming to the S and X.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. Just that's the 17-inch horizontal screen.
Did that-
Kind of the same similar look as
Yeah.
the Model 3 and Y, but slightly larger.
Yeah. Now, where did it say
I
17-inch
think when we
screen?
were in the test ride of the Cybertruck.
Oh,
you
that's
see
what they
it-
said.
you can
Okay.
say it was 17 inches.
Because there's nothing on here that says 7. I thought it used to say screen size on here, and I'm not seeing it anymore.
Because we've seen a lot of other electric cars are coming out, and they're
Oh, right here.
Okay.
Advanced 17-inch
okay,
touchscreen.
So it does still say 17 because it's like maybe they're gonna make it even bigger.
The fact that it says advanced is kind of weird, but we'll let it slide. James, thank you for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate that. Said, what do you think of the headlight bar from CTK incorporated on the SNX as a refresh? The headlight bar. Can you tweet me a link?
Yeah, I haven't seen that at all.
Yeah. Oh, David's mic died.
Oh, see,
Timeout. Sorry.
is it?
Oh, it might be this over here.
Yeah, no link. Sorry.
I'm working on the mic real quick.
You want
I'll
me
be
to
right
do it up
back.
there, or-
No, I just gotta get the power cable and plug this in. Oh no.
Awkward.
Power cable. Okay, here you can go up there real quick and.
That's okay.
Okay.
He's turned down. He's almost got it.
Okay. Okay. Talk.
That's still red.
Oh, okay. It should be connecting. Sorry. We actually talked about that. How his mic might die midstream, but we were
Yep, there
hoping
you
it
go.
wouldn't. Okay.
Hopefully you can hear me now.
Yay!
But thanks
Mic's
for,
good. Thank
Thanks
you.
for letting us know, because otherwise
Yeah.
we'd be talking and
Whew.
nobody
That
can
could
hear
have
me.
been funny.
Awkward.
Can you tweet me the link or something of the headlight bar?
Yeah, I haven't heard about that
Here,
at all.
I'll Google it real quick. Do you want to take some questions?
Is that like-
CTK
Oh, okay.
Incorporated?
But I saw, let me see, I saw
Headlight.
somebody scroll by.
Let me see real quick. Yeah. The fun of live TV. Mics go down.
Yep.
That's kind of funny. Should put a mic hidden behind the supercharger. So the thing is, like, I have
have-
this mic here, and this is just connected. It always has power. But he actually, when I'm over there, he has a lavalier mic.
Yeah.
So he's all wireless going to the.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I'm gonna try to look up that headlight bar real quick and see if I can find it. But if you can tweet it to me, that would be perfect. Or email it, either way.
Oh yeah, I saw Andrew Erickson and maybe somebody else. A couple people asked about the price guess on the full self-driving subscription, and that's something
yeah.
we talked about it in a previous video, like last summer, I think. And we're thinking it's not going to be cheap. We're thinking it's going to be, maybe $200 a month. But we'd be happy if it came in less than that. And we also don't know if there's going to be like if you're going to be able to go month to month, or if they're going to be requiring like a year subscription at a time. And that's one thing, especially with these new S or X that we're going to be getting in 2021. This might be the first time that we don't actually buy full self-driving. We've bought it over the years, and we've bought 12 Teslas over the past less than 5 years, and we've spent close to $64,000 on autopilot or full self-driving. I think it's like 32 on autopilot, 32 on full self-driving. So if they were to offer that, these might be the first car that we do not actually purchase it on, and that we just lease it. It does make sense to purchase it. Elon says it makes sense to keep it, or to purchase it if you're going to be keeping that car for a long time. But the way we kind of rotate through cars, or if you have a lease, it doesn't make as much sense to purchase it, and it's financially more sound, I guess, to do the month-to-month subscription option, if they will offer that.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how that works, because I'm not gonna lie, on the Plaid that we have reserved, the other Model S we have reserved, and the X we have reserved, we have
And the Cybertrucks.
And the Cybertrucks, we have FSD
Select.
included in
Yeah.
that. I want to see what the subscription cost is going to be before I jump into that route. I just normally like to pay for things straight up, but I actually have a video. Hopefully it's later this week. If not, it'll be early next week about why you shouldn't pay for things straight up. Yeah. But I don't know. It really depends on what the price is and if there's a minimum term. And there's so many what ifs that we just don't know right now.
But yeah, if it came in cheaper than $200, it would definitely.
If it even came in at $200 or $250, I'd consider.
That still would be cheaper. I mean, again, we hate the subscription fees, but that would still be cheaper for us overall because then over the course of the year, that'd be $2,400. If we only kept the car for 2 years, we'd only be paying like $4,800 for it, as opposed to paying like $10,000 if we bought the car and full self-driving outright.
Yeah. Let's see. Andrew Erickson said, should Tesla do another capital raise? We actually were talking about this yesterday too.
That the other day,
yes, I think 100% they should do. I mean, their last two were $5 billion. I honestly think go for a $10 billion capital raise. A lot of people are saying $10 billion. Yeah. And with the stock, the price it is, $10 billion capital raise is probably going to cost them less in stock than their $5 billions were.
Yeah,
so
they could do so much with that money.
So much. They could really work on the Supercharger network. They could really ramp up product development as well as like product improvement. Really,
service departments. Stuff
exactly.
Like that.
There's so much you can do with $10 billion.
Yeah, a lot of people have complaints of how it's hard to contact the service center and stuff like that. They could totally they did cut things back. They pared down the service centers and stuff a couple years back, but it'd be nice if they would put some more money into service.
Yeah.
But as we talk about with the Supercharger network, with just a couple $1 billion, they could double the size of the Super network easily. And if they're going to be starting to allow another car company to share the Supercharger network, they're definitely going to, it'd be nice to have a few more Superchargers out there.
Yeah. James, thank you for the $2 super chat. Said, sorry, Cybertruck headlights on SNX.
That's why we're confused.
Because I was looking up CTK Incorporated Tesla, and it's coming up with some company in the Cayman Islands and SEC filing, and I was like, uh-oh, what's going on here?
And also, a light bar makes more sense on a truck, because, like...
Yeah, but, I mean, if they had that... Because we were talking about maybe a new front bumper on S and X, too. So let me pull up X here, and we can kind of look at... And I'll explain to you what I was thinking. So if you kind of go to, like, order... What if they made the front look more kind of... And get rid of this part and make it look a little bit more like Y and 3, and... I'm sure they could do some kind of light bar, maybe. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if they do.
Towards what the Cybertruck is going to be.
Exactly. That would be...
Or like some of the other companies too, like I don't know Lucid, but one of the other companies, they had light all the way across the front.
Yeah, I think it is Lucid. So yeah, that would be dope too.
And that's another reason we were talking about the S and X possible refresh. Lucid's coming to market soon.
Yeah.
All these other cars are coming out.
NIO just had its event the other day.
So it's like Tesla needs to change things up on the S and X, and they don't need to get rid of them. But by just spending a few bucks, a few $1 million, they could refresh them.
Yeah. Roger said, I'll gladly take a Roadster off your hands. I mean, I'll give you a ride in one. We can do that for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely...
But so, I guess, I'll clarify this too, because a lot of people, I get asked this a lot, like, why don't I just give one away or something like that? But you need to... The thing is like, if we take delivery of any of those that we won, that is going to be counted as income to us that year. Mm-hmm. And so anyone who takes delivery of a free one that they won, you're going to end up having to pay almost $100,000 in taxes to get that car. And so while it is free from Tesla, it's not free from the government.
Yeah, a lot of times when companies have contests give away a car, they'll sometimes give you the money to cover the taxes on that as well.
I don't expect Tesla
They're not going
to
be doing that. So if we're going to have to get a car that's retail value of $250,000, the taxes are going to be close to $100,000 on that.
Yeah. But Roger, you get a ride.
Yeah, and we're definitely planning.
Sure.
Once we do get
there'll be events.
We're going to be taking some not test rides. We're going to be some road trips around the United States. Maybe not the entire United States at once, but maybe we'll do different regions and go around, take it around.
Depends if I have a job.
Yeah, we got vacation.
Yikes. Okay. John, thank you for the $2 super chat. Said, can you talk about new superchargers that have been added? Yeah.
That's another thing we.
Yeah.
Well, we forgot to mention, if you pull out like
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna pull it up
Tesla.com
now.
Find Us page, they did update the Tesla map of superchargers just at the beginning of the year. A lot of the locations said they were going to be done, hopefully in 2020. Some get built, some don't, some are pushed out. So they did update the map, and there's a lot of new locations. Just in Colorado alone, I think there were like 6 new superchargers. But we did notice they removed a couple pins as well. So a couple years back they were planning certain locations, but either they've filled in other locations or they just decided that those weren't as important. But in
Yeah.
California too, they continue to build them way out. Even in Canada, they're planning a ton more across Canada, be able to go up higher up further up north in Alberta.
Yeah,
And
so
and all
definitely
across.
go check out their website. I normally uncheck stores, service, and destination chargers because it can get really busy.
Yeah.
But if you click on them now, it will actually tell you their target opening date, which is very new. Some have been moved, some have been removed,
Yeah.
some have been added. In Colorado, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 potentially, but really this Lakewood one.
That might be a new
Lakewood,
location.
yeah,
That's a new
that's probably
location
going to be a new
because
one.
before it was listed as Wheat Ridge, and we already have a
Yeah.
Lakewood. So they
And
either
this
messed
Lakewood
up,
one
or they
wasn't
were adding
originally
new-
showing.
Yeah.
It just had this gray pin. So now that they've added that, so yeah, we're gonna have like 8 new ones here.
Just in Colorado, but all across, like I said, Canada, California, all across
Yeah.
the United States, even in other countries as well, they're adding them. But
A lot over
and
here.
like Eric mentioned, they've added the quarter. Previously, it just said expected opening in 2020 or 2021. Now they're trying to say like Q1 or Q2 or Q3.
Look at all the ones in Florida. Wow.
So this map that on Tesla, if you go to tesla.com/find us, it shows you where Tesla is planning on building them, but they always have some surprise ones. And we knew about some of these before they were actually under construction. So this is still not written in stone. There will still be other ones built, not in these places. And if you want to keep track though of ones that people have found, you can go to supercharge.info. And that's where it's like a crowdsourced site where people keep track of superchargers they find under construction. And they keep track, you can see like which ones are construction, which ones have the permits pull or submitted requests for a permit, or you can see which ones as they're completed.
Yep. Let's see. We had a $5 super chat from Khalil again. Thank you so much. Said, awesome guys. I've been vacationing in the Dominican Republic since the 23rd of December. My nephew has a 2019 Model 3 and I'll be his first referral. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, if you have a referral code from a friend, a relative, anything like that, definitely use theirs. Help them out, especially if they've helped you. I know some people were actually posting that online. Their neighbor convinced them to buy a Tesla, but then they went and did some own research and videos and decided to use a YouTuber's link instead. If someone's helped you, use their link.
Definitely.
By all means, especially friends and family. That's the way to do it.
if
Maybe
you
they
have
can
any
get
questions-
that referral Model Y.
Yeah, but if you have any questions for us, definitely reach out and
You bet.
and feel free to use ours if you like.
Yeah. Let's see. Rob said, update on my Model Y. Heat stopped working 12:10. Dropped off at Service Center 12:23. Hope to have it back this week. Wish me luck. I can let you know what went wrong when Tesla tells me. Yeah, definitely. Always curious to know what could have happened. I know there was like one update long ago that did some it broke. Was it the AC function or something? It broke something and they released a patch real quick. I wonder
I know,
if maybe
I know
they
they've
did
had
something.
problems with like the defrosters. I
Oh,
think,
yeah,
too, a
maybe
couple of
that's what it
versions
was.
back where like the window defrosters like stopped working, so they came out with a patch within like a day or two. But yeah, it's unfortunate he's got some hardware problems going on, but hopefully they get that fixed quickly. Because I know if you have a car like that, newer car like that, it's not fun having to leave it in service for so long.
Yeah. Andrew still in said, how about everyone here tweets Elon asking you to be added to the FSD beta? Seemed to have worked for Dirty Tesla from Michigan that way.
Oh,
Lol.
yeah.
I mean, if that's all
We
it
would
takes,
love
we
to
got
have it.
337 people
And
here.
we-
Everyone tweet them.
Yeah, and we have an S,
Quick.
we have a 3, and we have a Y, so we could test it out on any of those vehicles because they all have full self-driving. And we will hopefully soon have an X. We could test it out there as well. So we could definitely give them some comparisons between the different models.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. I mean, I've been wanting FSD beta for so long. I mean, that 2017 S that we still have, that had FSD paid for in 2017. And if I would have taken that FSD money and bought stock instead, we're not going to get into that. It's going to get really nasty really quick. But
Yeah.
we could have had a lot more money.
Yeah. And back to the Model Y, so Benny was asking if we were going to upgrade to the 7-seat Model Y. The answer would be no.
Nope.
Those seats are going to be very small, maybe for kids, if they're like 7 or 8, or smaller, we're not going to, because we had the model, like we said, we had the 6-seat Model X, and you could fit adults back there, but the legs, you would kind of be able to put them down the center aisle because we didn't have the 7-seat version.
Yeah.
But with the Model Y, we did a video last year where we took these seats from a Model X and we put them into the back of a Model Y, but we flipped them around like Sandy Munro had thought they might be coming out with. But there's no room back there. Even if you flip those seats around, it does look like the second row seats in the Y will slide forward and maybe flip up, so it's easier entry into the back, but there's not going to be leg room for normal adults back there.
Yeah, definitely not.
And we don't have 7 adults anyway, so we don't need 7-seat upgrade.
No. Roger said, any chance you installing the Honcho or Tesla offer Frunk kit for your Y? I mean, I've been asked to install a Frunk kit for the Y since Y came out. So maybe. It's a possibility. I don't honestly use my Frunk that much. Really, the only reason, actually right now, only thing that lives in my Frunk is that cooler from Tasmanian. So when I go get food, cold food, I just throw right in the cooler, or if like I'm getting like takeout, I can throw that in there and it stays a little warmer. But besides that, I don't think there's anything else in my Frunk.
Yeah, because we have so much room in the back. Typically, only time we've used Frunk was like recently when we did a road trip in December. We drove from Nevada back to Colorado, and we packed the cars down. But typically, we don't use a Frunk every day.
Yeah. Sorry, we have a ton of questions. We're gonna try to speed round through some of these. Decorder said, can't find any recent news on how the law changes of side mirrors is going. What do you guys know? From what I've heard, it still hasn't changed or anything, that you are still required to have side mirrors. Now on the Roadster, it didn't have that. On the Cybertruck, it doesn't have that. So either Tesla's gonna have to do a lot of like lobbying and everything to get that changed this year, or maybe they'll have like removable mirrors so that
like
you can have them now,
yeah.
and then once it changes, you can remove them.
That'd be interesting. Or if there's, you can use the cameras, but yeah, if there's an emergency, you could slap them back on.
That too.
Who knows?
Yeah. Let's see.
I'll just jump ahead while you're looking at that. Peter Ferret asked about the 7-seater again, if we could try to do a video. So yeah, we'll definitely do a video on one once it comes out, once they're getting delivered. We'll find one somewhere.
I have several people in the state of Colorado looking out for me, and that have messaged me saying they have one on order. They'll let me know when they pick it up, etc. So as soon as we get a 7-seater Y, you bet we'll be checking it out.
It won't be ours personally, but we'll get a hold of one to do a video.
Yep. Let's see. Dan said, "Hey guys, I'm late, just getting here. Hopefully I didn't miss much. Keep up the great content." Thank you, Dan. No, we actually started a little early today.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna feel out this whole 5 p.m. thing instead of 6.
We might move it around different days, different times.
Yeah, I kind of like the 5 p.m. a little bit better. I don't know. Let me know in chat what.
Or maybe we'll do
what do you guys
5:30.
prefer?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Let's see. Light bar makes sense on Cybertruck, but not S and X.
That's why I was confused when he mentioned S and X. Because when I think of light bar, I think of when you have a pickup truck that's off-roading and they got the big lights for like hunting and stuff, and they have it on the top.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, why would you put that on an S and X? Didn't make sense, but it makes more sense on a Cybertruck.
Yeah, but I think like where the headlights are.
Oh,
like
you thought something similar to what the Cybertruck
hood,
would have, yeah.
That's what I was thinking, and I think that looks.
There
dope.
are some other companies we've seen third party that do have like little lighted like emblems that you can put in there on the S and X, but it wasn't like a whole bar.
Yeah, because I'm trying to find a photo here. Well, we'll just look at all these photos of this beautiful car. Wow, none of them show the front here. Like this, like a light bar across the front. I think that'd look dope if it was incorporated properly into an S and X. My opinion. Some people said it would look more like Lucid, though. I mean, yeah, a little bit.
Oh, somebody said like Knight Rider, yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool too.
Had a little red light that goes back and forth.
Yep. Neil said, any thoughts on the Neo E7 or ET7? So I've looked at it a little bit. I still need to really dig into it, but it looks pretty promising. 150 kilowatt battery pack is pretty beastly. Kilowatt hour battery pack is pretty dang big.
What's the range on that?
632 miles, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty nutty. But I was reading some quick articles and it sounded like you buy the vehicle, but you end up leasing the battery.
Yeah, that's a lot of companies with electric vehicles did that, and I know in Europe a couple of smaller vehicles had that in the past where you would just lease the battery. In some ways, that's a benefit. Again, we don't like leasing or paying rental things, but it could be a benefit, especially if you see degradation or something like that. You don't have to worry about it because you could change and get a different battery, supposedly.
Let me see, where was I? Matt said, I want to ride. No problem. It'll be around Colorado.
Yeah.
It'll be around a lot. I actually might daily drive it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. KK said, are you thinking about the Aptera 3-wheel vehicle? Some fun videos coming up with the Aptera. Can't go into too much detail, but yes. There will be a lot of content
hopefully
coming up around that.
And one thing, for those of you who don't know, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that it looks like Aptera is probably going to be that manufacturer which will be joining in with Tesla and using the Supercharger network.
Yep. Let's see. Tom's Turbo Garage, thank you for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate that. Said hi.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
Okay, he's gonna fix the confetti gun for you. Said when placing a Plaid S reservation, God, that made me go. It required selecting wheels interior. Doesn't that seem strange given those details haven't been publicized? Will Tesla reach out to confirm? Yes. So my view on this is they've kind of done it a little bit when they've added options in the past. Is once the official options are there, you can go on there and either keep what you have or select something new. So like Plaid S, and even like the reservations we just did on the S and X, I don't expect that interior to look like it does now if they refresh it. And by Plaid S, I would 100% expect the refresh, because that price point for just a bigger battery as well as faster 0 to 60 times doesn't make sense to me.
There's
You've got to
have
add other stuff.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to modify that once it actually comes out. It is weird though how they are letting you choose wheels and interior and everything. I agree with that. Whereas like the Cybertruck and the Roadster, you just have like the placeholder, and then once the configurator opens up, you'll be able to modify it. That is odd. I do agree with that. I didn't actually think about that too much, but yeah, agreed. Let's see. Otis said, why so much in tax on the Roadster? Sales tax is 7% here. So
it's not sales tax.
It's not sales tax, unfortunately. It's like income tax. So being that Tesla is going to issue 1099s on the value of the prize one, which is $250,000, you're going to have to pay taxes on that like you got that money from your job.
It's just like if somebody wins the lottery or something like that.
Yeah, same thing.
A third of that money goes towards taxes, unfortunately.
Yeah. So it has nothing to do with like EV tax or vehicle purchase taxes or anything like. It's just like winnings are taxed differently. So it's the way the world goes around, I suppose.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure that would be, it's like the federal, so it's like it doesn't matter what state you're gonna have to pay it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure states have their own too.
Oh yeah, more taxes.
Sorry to break that to you. Let's see. Elon's brain said V3 expansion at Kettleman. Are they expanding Kettleman even more?
It shows up as another pin, so that's I've seen some discussion about that. If people are wondering, are they gonna? I know that a while back they started changing a bunch of them, or they installed V3 there. So there's some debate: are they gonna switch the other ones all over to V3, or are they gonna just put in another location? Because while it does make sense to do both, it doesn't make sense to tear out all that good hardware and just take it down. If they could just build another, the next highway down or across the highway and put another one in. And we're kind of seeing the same thing, we think, in Silverthorne here in Colorado. There's already a supercharger that's a V2 supercharger, and a couple months ago they put in 4 new supercharger, but they only put in V2 again. And we're like, it doesn't make any sense to put in an additional 4 and then pull them all out and put in V3. So we're hoping that means for Silverthorne that they're going to be putting in a V3 supercharger, maybe on the other side of the highway. And then once that one's up and running, then they can go back and maybe upgrade those V2 ones. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do in Kettleman, because that is such a big supercharger there.
Yep.
Nice location.
Mohammed said hello from Egypt. Welcome. Thank you for joining us from Egypt. That's amazing. KK said, any insider information you can reveal on superchargers not listed on the map in Colorado or Utah?
Basically, what we've seen is pretty much what we know. We did hear some rumors last year that Durango was going to be getting one, but that was last year. We don't know if their plans have changed. And I know a lot of people want something down in the Durango-Cortez area, because that would make it a lot easier if you're coming up from New Mexico or Arizona into that corner of the state. So hopefully we'll see something in Durango, not on those, or actually no, hopefully see something in Durango eventually. And we did know that they had one originally scheduled for Telluride. Looks like it's going to move slightly west over to like Mountain Village, but that's still pretty much the Telluride area. But we haven't heard of any other ones. There is one that we know of right in the Denver area, which we call University Hills. And Denver, the pins have changed slightly. They got rid of a Cherry Creek one and a Denver one and replaced them with a Denver East. And we're wondering if the Denver East one will be that University Hills one. It is east, but it's a little bit south. So, and what's odd too is that the official Denver named Supercharger is way out east. So it'll be odd that the new Denver East Supercharger will actually be further west than the Denver Supercharger.
Yeah.
The naming is kind of weird on those. I don't know.
Some of the naming on the Superchargers is a little,
Yeah.
I don't want to say deceiving, but it doesn't describe the area it's best located.
Or they don't plan for the future or something
Yeah.
like that. It's not always. I mean, again, when you've only had one Supercharger, they could call it Denver. But if for those of you who don't have visited the Denver Supercharger, it is way out east, like by Pena Boulevard, way
Yeah.
out. It's 30 something miles away from us, and it's probably 15, 20 miles away from Denver, downtown Denver.
Yep. Daniel has a good question for us. Help. Everybody listen up.
Uh-oh.
Model S P100D lease is up in December. Should I one, buy out the lease, 2, do another lease on a Model S, or 3, look at other EVs like the Taycan or the e-tron? So, I mean, I'll kind of go through that with you. Let's start with number 3, other EVs. I guess this is kind of up to you. My opinion of the Tesla Model S is I don't think the Taycan and e-tron really compete with it, as well as other EVs
Like the Mach-E.
in the US, to be honest. I still think Tesla is superior, especially when it comes to like doing road trips. You have the Tesla network. You don't have to rely on third-party networks, which can be down or charge a ton. For me, it's just ease of use. And I've also just been really happy with the whole Tesla situation that we've had. Do another lease on a Model S or buy out your current lease. It's up in December.
That's like a year almost. So
I mean, I would maybe see how this whole refresh thing plays out and maybe look at getting a lease on a Plaid.
yeah, or
that would
whatever,
be dope.
or if you can't, if the Plaid's not in your budget, whatever. Hopefully, the non-Plaid version will have everything except for like the high-end motors and the 500-mile range. So maybe another Model S, but it doesn't need to be Plaid.
Yeah. So I would see how Tesla
Luckily,
rolls
he's
out.
got like 10, 11 months to figure that out.
Yeah.
So I'd wait and see. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot of changes with that, though.
Yeah. Roger said, you just talked me out of spending money on the Frunk kit myself then. Uh-oh. Hopefully those other companies don't see that. I mean, I just don't really utilize my Frunk that much. Last time I used it was for food, and I just don't use it that much.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure like the time and effort and money spent to do one of those, I don't know would benefit me, if that makes sense. And that's something that might be different for other people. Some people use their Frunk a lot more than I do.
Yep.
I just don't really use it that much.
I saw KK was talking about the Aptera, and we had mentioned how it's probably going to be on the Supercharger network, just because we did see the charge port, a wall, a plug kind of like this in their video, plugging into an Aptera, and also it looks like, yes, the interior looks suspiciously similar to
It's very Model 3-esque.
Model 3. Like the screen looks the same, and some of the other features are the same. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're sharing a lot of parts with Tesla.
Yep. I think a lot of good stuff is going to be coming out of that. My opinion. Khalil said, I'm taking some money out of one of my retirement accounts for the down payment of my first Tesla. I'm on my third hybrid car following Tesla since the original Roadster. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I have a video that is coming up about my Tesla experience and how I've paid for them and what money moves I've made to be able to do it smartly.
And what we would do differently maybe in the future, or what we would have
Exactly.
done differently in the past had we known things were going to turn out the way we were.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe check out that video. Maybe dropping later this week if I can squeeze it in, hopefully.
In fact, I'm just going to talk Elon's brain again, mentioned the Utah expansion. Yeah, again, they're expanding superchargers all over the place. And what we saw on our road trip when we were just driving through Nevada and Utah last month is that Tesla has been sitting out those temporary chargers in a lot of locations that only had like 4 or 6 superchargers. They've been adding the pallets that have a couple of urban superchargers. And we've seen several of those going into Utah, and it's nice. Sometimes they're even putting those in when they're planning on adding an official like V3 supercharger, but they're pushing those out because they could just set those up in a couple of days and make it so people have a place to charge until those V3s are installed.
Let me see. I got a couple here. Michael said, I'll remove my side mirrors with a hammer when it's legal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, use a sledgehammer. Just be safe.
Yeah.
John said, the manufacturer must provide side mirrors, but the owner can legally remove them. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
That would be
I will say
interesting.
there's a guy that I met at one of the Tesla Corsa events. He does a lot of really good carbon fiber work, and he actually has a mirror delete for Model 3. So I don't know. Maybe we'll play around with that. Let's see. Jeff, thank you for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate it. It said, if you had a 35-year-old single friend who wanted to impress the lady.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Hypothetically. If I had a 35-year-old single friend who wanted to impress the ladies with a Model Y with 19-inch Gemini wheels, what exterior color would you recommend? I'm very biased. White.
Yeah, we always like
The
white.
white just looks so clean to me. That being said, I'm not a big fan of the black because it gets swirl marks and shows that a lot more so. Now, the first Model Y we had was that midnight silver metallic, and I actually, that color grew on me a lot.
Yeah, it looked nice, and it was cool with that car too. Is that depending on the lighting, it looked different colors. Kind of, I mean, like
it could. Sometimes it would look a little more like black. Sometimes it would look a little bit more like silver.
And the thing too about white, we've loved white. We've gotten most of our Teslas in white. The problem is that's now the free color. You can save a little money by getting the white one, but you'll notice that almost there's a ton of white Model 3s and Model Ys out there.
Yeah, there is, but I mean, Matt wrapped them all anyway with Expel. It's their Expel Stealth Wrap. So it's actually it's actually a paint protection film, so it's a lot thicker than vinyl. And we really like that, like frozen white look.
Yeah,
so
nice.
But I mean, you can't really go wrong with any of the colors. I recently saw, I was in McDonald's drive-thru. Don't flame me for this. And in front of me was a red Model Y, and I really haven't seen a red Model Y like that close, I guess, and I loved it. It looked really good. Red with the black wheels.
So I guess our personal opinion about almost any color except we don't like black. So.
Yeah, there you go. But you can never go really wrong with white. It does show dirt a lot more though on the white.
Yeah. And we had
I guess that's one thing to keep in mind too.
And in the past, my first Model S was silver, and we bought a silver Model 3 as well, but then Tesla discontinued that color, which is unfortunate because that one did a really good job of, it looked nice, but it did a good job of hiding the dirt.
Yeah, and actually, if you really want to impress your friend, hypothetically, you could wrap your vehicle like gold chrome. Literally, you could wrap it any color you wanted. So maybe get like midnight silver metallic or black. Find out the girl you wanted to impress, hypothetically's color, and then you can wrap it that color. That's a terrible idea, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta swing. So thank you for the $5 though, and then Tesla Frunk, thank you for the $5 donation. No message. If you have a message that you would like, just drop it in chat. You don't need to necessarily donate, but thank you anyway for the super chat. Now let me see where I was. Andrew said, do we think Elon sandbagged the Plaid S timeline? Potentially. Tesla has been doing really good with their timelines recently, like really good. So you never know. Let's see.
I'm jumping way ahead there, but I thought Jonathan Melendez has an idea. He says, with the money that you could spend that we'd have to spend on the Roadster tax, we could buy a house in Sweden, move there, avoid taxes, take shipment there, and ship them back to Colorado, and still save money. So,
You got me thinking. I mean, my company that I work for is based in Sweden.
Maybe there's some other countries too, though. Maybe we could just move to the Cayman Islands or something. I don't know.
For a week. Yeah, I love it. Let's see. Some Tesla guy said, traded it in my 2020 SR Plus for a 2021 long range, and with the white seats this time, loved them. Seeing the creases, wrinkles.
Oh, really? We haven't
Already, though, any secrets to facing them out or whatnot? Asking the pros. I haven't really had any creases or wrinkles.
No, and we have
If you are on Twitter, you can tweet me some photos, or you could message me some stuff, but just I don't always get through my messages because I have 500 just sitting in that extra box because I get a lot. But I'll try to keep an eye on it and see, because I'm curious to see how bad they are, because for 2021 I would expect no creases, no wrinkles.
We haven't really seen that problem. So our first two Teslas we back in 2016 still had the leather on the seats, and we could see after some usage we saw the wrinkles showing up in those. But once they came out with the the premium seats and the ultra white, fabric, whatever it is, not fabric, but the imitation leather, we haven't had any problem. And we've had these here in the
studio
for over a year,
yeah,
year and a half.
Those are from crashed Model
and
X's that were total.
I don't see, there's like no wrinkles on there whatsoever. So it's like
the only thing is like this one is perforated, that one isn't, and so the perforated one, there were some complaints that the perforation kind of down on the seat right here could get a little like torn easier and such.
Easier to get
but
snagged
we haven't had any issue.
So yeah, I'm surprised that they would see that. So
yeah.
hopefully that's not going to be a common thing.
Yeah, true. So, but yeah, if you can also email me photos.
Yeah, because now I'm looking, because we've had the white seats since those. I think we only had a couple cars that did have the black interior because they did not come out with the white right away on the Y or the 3, and so we took delivery of the black and then we got white ones. But yeah, we've been really happy with the white, and now I'm looking all over, but I don't see any wrinkles.
Yeah. LMN said, I want to buy a Tesla. Is the base 3 a good choice, or should I upgrade to the premiums? Well, let's check it out real quick. Let me jump over here to Model 3 and look at it. But really, in terms of what's best, it kind of boils down to your options and your financial situation and everything.
Needs, yeah.
But this one's $38,000 for the standard range.
What's the range on the standard?
263.
Oh, wow, so that's gone up.
Yeah, it's not bad, actually. And so that's $38,000 for 263 miles, whereas the long range is $47,000 for 353. So I think if you're more cost conscious, you really need to weigh out what range you really need.
That's one of the important
honest.
factors. Just because if you're not going to ever do any road trips, then you probably don't care about that extra range. But we do a lot of road trips, and I would always say try to get the biggest battery you can afford.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You can still do these road trips, especially in California and other states. You can still do road trips with that smaller battery, but you're just going to have to stop more often, and you have to charge longer just because you got to be able to make it to the next supercharger.
Yeah. Amy said, it's a good Roger doesn't have to spend the money on the new Frunk kit. More money for my new car. Talking about a red Model Y.
I heard about that. So you heard about that too? Yeah, I heard Amy wants the red one.
Oh, yeah. You can have the red one next to the gray one.
Yep.
In case you guys don't know, Roger's the new owner of our first Model Y.
Well, they've had it a while now, since June. So yeah.
So we have a lot of inside jokes with them. Great people. Let's see. Daniel said, thanks for the response. I've got some time before December to figure it out. The plan, first choice would be a Refresh S. Test drove the Taycan, fun car lacking the supercharging network that they must have. So I actually went to go try to test drive a Taycan. I even had one pre-ordered.
Woohoo!
Oh my God. Okay. You scared the crap out of me. I was like, why are we doing this?
Just saw that we got a couple of super chats.
We'll get to super chat in just 1 second. And the dealership didn't want to even show me a Taycan. Didn't even want anything to do with it.
We had problems with the Jaguar too.
I'm done with it.
A lot of dealerships, they're just not trying to sell their EVs. We've tried Jaguar, they wouldn't show them to us.
And it's like, I didn't come in with cameras or any of that. It was just me. Yeah, I drove a Tesla, but like, I can't hide that. But it's not like I was trying to shove cameras in their face or like, they didn't want anything to do with me. So it is what it is. Super chats, let's get to it. Jeff, thank you for the $20.
Did you get the one from John too? John had
really
one.
Appreciate that. Yes,
okay.
We'll get to John in just a second. Sorry, I gotta go through my line here.
Okay.
Thank you for the $20. Jeff said, if you had a 35-year-old pal with no kids who hates his job, just sold his house, now has $340,000 in the bank, would you tell him he's a dummy for buying $200,000 in Tesla stock, a new Model Y, and $50 living money in the stock tanks?
We've been talking about that.
I would say. I mean, okay, I don't want to give stock or investment advice, but I'd do that.
Yeah, it's especially the last week, the way the stock's been going. I mean, you got to hope that it doesn't drop, but that's.
But if you're gonna risk $200,000, obviously put in an automatic sell if it hits like 180 or something.
Yeah, so you don't want to lose.
So you don't lose too much, but then obviously keep an eye on it because if it dips even more or starts to climb again, maybe buy it back.
But then you got the white, or you got the wash.
But then you get a Y, and you got $50K.
Yeah.
I guess you need to think about the living situation though, because you sold your house. So what?
Oh yeah.
Need to think about the living situation.
But yeah,
because you probably need a house if you want to impress the ladies. Or you need a place to stay. You don't want to be like, I live out of my car, even though it is a Model Y. You want to be careful with that. Yeah. But I mean, buying Tesla stock is. I don't think it's going down anytime soon. And I'm still buying, even to the day. Like, bought some more the other day, and anytime I can, I just keep on buying it.
It's been going up, and we haven't even had the fourth quarter shareholder meeting yet.
Nope.
And so I think it's still going to go up. I mean, who knows? It could drop a little bit tomorrow, but it's still going to be going up. They've got so much happening in the future. It's going up.
Yeah.
Eventually.
But thank you for the super chat. And then John also did a $5 super chat. Really appreciate that. John said, being a bigger guy, I do get wrinkles in my Tesla seats that I had in the Cadillac.
Yeah, so maybe that's why we haven't seen it, but yeah.
Maybe. But I noticed that when we had the gray leather interior on
We
our
saw
first
the
two S's,
wrinkles in those.
we did see wrinkles in those, but these we've had much better success with.
Yeah.
That's why I know a lot of people, I'm probably going to get flack for this. A lot of people love leather in their cars. I have never had a good leather experience on a seat, ever. They've all ended up stretching and get creases, and it's just never looked that great. My opinion, but I don't care for leather like that. Sorry, wrong camera button. Close up on David, go. Michael Coppernick said, my birthday's today. Happy birthday. Welcome. Let's see. With the money oh yeah, that's what you said about Sweden. I mean, that's tempting. That would be dope. But, we'd be hit with taxes when we bring the car back into the U.S., I bet.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to get us anyway.
Yeah.
They always do, so it's better we just...
Because I've actually looked at moving other places in the past, and you would have to pay tax on everything you bring in, and if we took it out and then brought it back...
Yeah. I mean, the U.S. is always going to get their cut regardless of how you do it.
I lived in Canada many years ago, and when I just bought a laptop, I had to pay several $100s to import a laptop to Canada, and then I had to go through all this paperwork to get that money back when I moved back to the United States. But I did get it back. So.
Yeah. Jeff, some people are saying blue for sure. Amy said, make sure she understands what she's looking at. Stupid girls don't understand good, cool cars. This coming from a 35-year-old female.
Oh, okay, he's got it.
God, that's so funny. So, I mean, just make sure she knows what a Tesla is. But you can't go wrong with a Tesla. I mean, really, my big attraction to Tesla before the investing, before the YouTube, before any of that, was just getting more dependent and not having to deal with gasoline powered vehicles, be more self-generating with our power, with our solar and everything. This has just kind of been like a vehicle that I just share that with. But that was what really attracted me to electric vehicles. But before Tesla came along, to me, electric vehicles were slow. They weren't great looking.
Really short range.
Very short range. Yeah. Tesla's the one that really changed that for all of it, really.
And with the Supercharger network, they made it so you can go pretty much anywhere.
Yeah. Let's see. JG said, actually in the U.S., it's required you have 2 rear-facing mirrors to be road legal. You could technically remove one side mirror and still be illegal.
I remember back when cars only had one side mirror.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They weren't required until like mid-'80s, I think.
Yeah. Rich said, my red Model Y is matte wrapped with PPF. I love it. Oh. I don't know what it is, but when you take a gloss car and you put any kind of matte PPF on it, I love it. It just looks so good. I love the matte look. I'm kind of over gloss cars. I was like that way with the chrome trim too. I never really cared for chrome trim as well. It is what it is, I guess. Let's see. Where are we? Sorry.
I see a lot of people asking again about the S and X refresh or if the lines are open again. We don't know yet. We expect them to open up tomorrow, but hopefully we'll be seeing news on that S and X refresh very soon.
Yeah. Trying to see what we haven't answered so we can make sure we get to a lot of questions here. He's gonna tweet with pictures.
I saw too that
Let me see if I got.
I think it was Benny. He's saying that he's wondering if they'll ever have free shipping because in Australia it's expensive and if he could save some money on shipping. I don't know if they can do that because at least in the United States, I don't know if that's that way worldwide, but they have to charge a shipping fee and it has to be the same to all people in that country. So even if you live next door to the factory or if you live 3,000 miles away, they charge the same shipping fee. So it might be that's just something they may have to do legally. I don't know if that's the same way in Australia, but that would be my guess. So I don't think they're ever going to have free shipping. Sorry.
Okay. I see the picture of the seat now. I haven't actually seen stuff like that, but I've heard somebody had something similar, and Tesla fixed it with like a steam cleaner thing. I'll show you guys. You can see that kind of like crease there. Hopefully you can see that. But that's weird. I honestly haven't had any creases like that in any of mine. And being that you have a 2021, it had to have come that way.
Yeah,
so I would maybe reach out or do like a service request through the app and ask for that to be corrected, because that shouldn't have happened yet. Alan, thank you for the $5 super chat. Said as a mirror as small as a dental mirror used to be legal on motorcycles.
That's what I'm wondering is if
the size of a nickel?
That's what he's saying. So that's why I'm like, well, you could put that on the side repeater or something. It's
I know, right?
Hey,
there's
a
a mirror. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Maybe I'll do that in the.
Or maybe they could bring Chrome back and use that as the mirror. Yeah.
I'll keep the mirror. Don't give me Chrome. Let's see. I did a road trip from New York to Florida from John in a 2020 SR Plus, and it was great. Go with FSD and an SR Plus. And we had an SR Plus, and I actually didn't mind it really at all.
Just a few more charges, and we had
a few more charges, but also it's that partial premium interior. So here on Tesla's website, the SR Plus, you're gonna get the partial premium instead of the premium. The nice thing though is I believe you can now pay to get heated seats in the rear.
Yeah, it's like
$300 or something.
I think yeah.
And that you can do that afterwards in the app and everything. But the nice thing is you get a more premium audio, premium connectivity. You get a year included instead of 30 days. So that adds maybe $110 in value. Yeah. You get the fog lamps, interior floor mats, which I always rip out anyway and put in all weather. So I mean, I guess it's really not that bad now that I kind of look at it, but it's something just to extra consider.
And it's just, again, depending on where you live, the Superchargers might be a lot closer. But when we did our road trip, it was across Kansas, and some of those are pretty spread apart.
Yeah.
And so it'd be better to have a bigger battery if you're going to, in the western states at least.
Yep. Let's see here. Have we checked out the Mach-E from Amy? So, not yet. I've been trying. Ford, I guess, hates me. And the dealerships around here also hate me. So there you have that. But yeah, I'm trying. It just doesn't seem like people want to loan one out. Fingers crossed we can get one eventually. Let's see. You're going to have to hire a sound engineer soon. I mean, it would be nice to have somebody just control it so I don't have to keep switching between the cameras. Because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7 different camera things going on here. Wow. So yeah, it's a doozy to do all this. Let's see. So I see some other people asking about Model S and X refresh. Yeah, lines are supposed to open up tomorrow. It could take a few extra days. It really depends on how smoothly any changes they did, which we don't know if it's a refresh or not yet. But it really depends on how smoothly those changes went. I would hope they would open up ASAP though. License to Drive said he's in at Tesla at 443. Oh, nice. Love it. Yep. That's a great one, especially if it was pre-split.
It's almost doubled his money already then.
Well, I guess it depends if it was pre or post-split.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah, let's see. Side mirror requirements vary state by state. In Texas, it is not required if you have a rear view mirror. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's see. Trying to get through some questions. I think we'll see the refresh S and X tomorrow morning. I mean, I imagine when it hits, Tesla's going to be tweeting, and they're immediately going to change their pictures on their website, which we have some notification thingies out. So if we see something, you bet we'll be tweeting about it. Maybe we'll even do a quick video about it. So definitely, if you're not subscribed, do so. Turn on the bell because that should be hitting anytime soon as long as they refresh something. Now, if it's just the heat pump, I don't know if we should expect Tesla to release anything about that.
Yeah, because that's all under the hood. Nobody would see that.
Exactly. I have a feeling if they do that, they're just going to increase the mileage, and people will notice that, but it's gonna fly more under the radar. Now, if it's a refresh like a big one, like interior, exterior, whatever, I imagine they're going to release something about that. I don't think they're going to let that fly under the radar like that. Let's see. Some Tesla guy with the seat said, I'll reach out to them and let you know how it works out. Yeah, definitely do. Always curious and to know how things go with that. Let's see. Dental mirror right next to the rear-facing camera is very small and low drag.
That's what I said.
Exactly. Let's see. Khalil said, should I put $20,000 down on my first Tesla? I mean, so this is the video that I've been kind of alluding to that I'm talking about soon, but I would put down as little as possible and take that cash and do something else with it. Investments. Put your money to work for you so that you can be even more financially stable. That's my attitude.
Yeah, because interest rates are pretty cheap now.
They are.
And like he's talking about in the video we're going to be doing, it's like things would be quite different for us if we had financed some of the cars instead of buying or whatever. So.
Yeah, I mean, long story short, if I wouldn't have bought my first Tesla in cash and got Tesla stock instead, I'd have another 2 million in the bank.
2.5 million.
2.5. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah.
digging it a little deeper.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But we don't because we
got the car
we
instead.
got a car.
It is what it is, but
And that was just the one car, not the other 11 afterwards.
yeah. Alan said Ford hates you, Porsche hates you, Jaguar hates you, Hummer ignores you. I mean, you pretty much summed up my life right there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That's
we should
spot on.
use somebody else's name next time we go, or
know.
get somebody else. We'd have a secret shopper going.
Secret shopper, there you go. KK said, did you see the new GM logo can be rearranged to spell Elon? It's so funny.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I don't know who at GM signed off on that logo, but why would you do that?
And they said that's like the biggest change for GM in
I
like
know.
50 years. It's like, really? It's like a logo change.
And it can be rearranged to spell Elon. Talk about a massive fail, but whatever. I think it's funny.
That's funny.
Robin said, do you think the Mach-E and the Y are in the same class? Personally, I feel Model Y has more value, especially when it comes to range. So we compare this with pretty much every other EV. I think it's more the Supercharger network that adds the most value to Tesla because they control it, they own it, whereas all these other companies rely on third-party networks, which are also going to have their hand in the pot trying to make some money because it's a third-party company that's trying to make money. It's actually a lot of it's VW's money from the Dieselgate situation, so they're trying to pay themselves back for their own penalties.
But also the charging, if you're on a road trip, that I don't think it's integrated. So
No,
it's like
it's
you
not.
might be able to choose, but it's not automatic. I guess they could come up with something just like a better route planner where you could calculate it all out for you. But right now it's really easy in Tesla to do a road trip because you don't have to think about it. It just tells you where to go, and you go, and you don't have to pay at the pump or whatever.
Yeah.
Swiping any cards or key fobs and all that stuff.
It's so much easier to just plug in and the
It
car
works.
and everything deals with it.
But, Ford does have some nice features in its car and,
Yeah.
and stuff. Still a few more buttons and stuff than I would like, but they're getting there. It's nice that a good attempt, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to applaud them for doing an EV, but I'm curious to know, would they be doing an EV if Tesla hadn't been so successful?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Don't think so. Also, go back to the road trip thing. We did a video a few months back where we compared the price if you were to do a road trip in an S or an X or a 3 or a Mach-E. And for some reason, in the Mach-E, I think it's just really not efficient, but it would have cost like over $400-something to do a trip from Colorado to California. And in my Model S, which has free supercharging, it would have been free, of course. But in like a 3 or a Y, it was like $30. Or no, maybe it was more than $30, but it was like the price for the Mach-E was just so much more expensive because it would have to use the Electrify America chargers. But you know what? I think we did that before Electrify America changed their pricing scheme. So we should maybe revisit that and see what the price on that would be now. But at the time, it was just going to cost like 2 or 3 times as much to drive on a long road trip with the Mach-E versus like a Tesla.
Exactly. And it's just, I really like the fact that Tesla owns their network because they've admitted it and talked about it a bunch. Is they never expect to make that a profit center. They are basically breaking even on like the energy costs and stuff. And you can see that when you look at the prices versus like Electrify America because it's normally double, triple, quadruple. So things to think about. Matt, thank you for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate that. Said, how about the Taycan Cannonball Run record? Though that was definitely along a specific path. It was. along a specific path. I did see that. I don't know how long they're gonna necessarily hold it for. Hopefully, when I get the Roadster, I'll beat it.
How long did it take for the Taycan?
It was, I have it right here, 45 hours and 16 minutes.
Still pretty good time.
A Model 3 did it in 8 hours and 10 minutes. So they cut like 3 hours.
They must have been driving really fast.
They're driving really fast. And that's one thing to think about is Cannonball can tell you how fast you can drive. Charging has to do with it a little bit, but the faster you drive, the more laws you can break.
Did they say how much it costs though? How much they spent in charging?
I don't see a cost, but it does say it was done with Electrify America, and this is kind of what I want to talk about. Electrify America on the East Coast was down for like a month. I think some of the stations are still down.
Back in before one of the holidays back there, they didn't give anybody notice. They just kind of like shut down part of the network. So.
Yeah, so that's
to upgrade.
That's the issue that I have is they just aren't very strategic with their shutdowns. They didn't notify anybody. I'm not saying Tesla's perfect. Some supercharger stations are better than others, but at the same point, they own the network. They know what the average number of cars that go through there are, and they know they can't just shut down an entire East Coast of network.
And as we mentioned earlier, they're putting out temporary chargers when they're trying. They know that people rely on them, and so they go and strategically place these temporary chargers just to help with traffic during the high peak periods.
Yep. I guess just like Alan said, as Elon does, vertical integration gives control and a single blink of profit in this chain. Multiple suppliers and sub-suppliers puts profits into the chain and multiple times it drives costs up 110%. And that's why I really like about Tesla is because they are doing so much in-house. I mean, they manufacture their own seats. Most car manufacturers don't do that. They manufacture so much now of their own that they can really help keep costs down but still make record profits themselves. Let me see. John, thank you for the $5 super chat again. Really appreciate all the love tonight. John said, look at Electrify America, Minnesota. It's a joke.
Yeah, and yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
And I think North Dakota, South Dakota, all those states,
they
don't have anything out there. Kind of like Tesla was for a long time, but Tesla kept expanding. Maybe Electrify America will put Electrify America charging stations there eventually, but it's pretty limited if you're driving across the northern United States.
Yeah. I'm looking for the Elon or the GM logo. Someone asked about that. So if you want to take another question, I see Cool Tech with Mick. Said, my dad has an S and my mom has an X. Oh, wow. That's cool. Dope. My parents want an X too. So,
and it's a long range, so that's fairly new too.
Yeah. I think someone said, I think Taycan efficiency, it gets more efficiency versus 3 at higher speeds. Okay. So at higher speeds, it might be a little bit more efficient.
He says rotate the M in GM.
Yeah, I was looking for someone actually like had an image.
And
of
underline
it.
is the L, and the G on that side is on.
New GM logo to spell Elon. Somebody had it on Twitter.
Just look at the new GM logo itself. But yeah, I'm not. Who cares?
Yeah, I just thought it was kind
of. It was
funny.
probably See, there's the logo. So yeah, EL. That's
Let me pull it down here.
I don't know.
Okay, so what they did is if you rotate this...
Yeah, 90 degrees.
90 degrees. This is the E. This is the L. This is the O. So turn your head to the right or rotate this. Yeah. This is the O, and then this is the N right here. So it's E-L-O-N.
Yeah. What's weird is I heard something they were talking about, this shows where the future is electric. How?
Yeah, how does that logo say electric?
It's like,
I don't get
where
that.
do you get that? I was like, I don't see that at all.
No. I was just as confused as you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you think the SR Model Y is any good? Need an opinion. I mean, for the price, it knocks off $8,000 off the long range all-wheel drive. The only downside that I have with the SR Plus is it is rear-wheel drive. Rear-wheel drive cars Teslas are still great in snow because you have all that low weight in the battery. That being said, though, I would definitely get a snow set for sure if I had a rear-wheel drive.
And if you live in a place that has snow. If you live in Florida or Texas or someplace...
It's great for climates that don't get snow.
Yeah.
100%.
Better there, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can get by with the shorter range, then yeah, it's still a great car.
Yeah. Oh, I have incoming text message from Roger. Oh yeah, he sent. Oh yeah, the logo. Yeah. Yep, that's so funny. Oh, he sent it to me. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm not like. I gotta block some stuff out. I don't want to like dox anybody. You can see it's like ELON.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't want to show like phone numbers or anything. That could have been bad. Yeah, it's very weird. I agree. Cham said, call a financial advisor. They can probably help. Yeah. I mean, if you guys have like really in-depth financial ideas on how much you should put down, obviously I would talk to a financial advisor rather than me. I can tell you what's worked for me, but at the same point, everyone has a situation that's different, and make sure that everything is explained to the financial advisor. They'll look into your accounts and history and stuff and make sure that it works for you. 100%. Any news on mud flaps for a Model Y from Jonathan? No, not really. There was a company that was making like some carbon fiber ones, but I didn't really care how they attached, so I haven't done any, but I would be interested in mud flaps for the Model Y just to help protect that, what is that part under the door, that trim, that black trim? Mm-hmm. Is that what, I don't know the specific name for it, but I want something to protect.
I know they do have them like in Canada and stuff, but I don't think they're the best looking ones. I think they had a couple different ones, but
yeah.
Oh yeah.
We'll see what shows up. Beverly said, I moved away from Colorado to avoid the snow, so I have an SR Plus Model 3. Yeah, I mean, Colorado's nice because we get all the seasons, but I'm not a huge fan of super cold weather. But it's nice because Colorado, it'll be freezing one day and 80 the next. You never really know. Well, we have been live for an hour and 36 minutes now, so I think we're probably going to go ahead and call it here.
Wait, one quick question. I see
we have one other one.
Sales RG says, is it possible to get a Supercharger installed at a restaurant or his family owns it? Yeah, if you go to the Tesla website and go to like Supercharger, there's a way that you can contact them and say that you want to like host a Supercharger, and they'll contact you and negotiate with you and see if are they going to pay for it, or are you going to pay for it? But it would definitely be a good perk to have at your restaurant, because you know that when people do use a Supercharger, they're going to be there, 20 minutes or 40 minutes, whatever. So it definitely would bring you more customers.
Yeah, definitely. And you can get good tax write-offs too.
Yes.
But we're going to basically call it here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next week. If you haven't, though, be sure to check out our channel sponsors website.
Abstract Ocean.
Abstract Ocean. I need a drink. Sorry. Time out. And you can use code Tesla Inventory for 15% off of your first purchase. Really appreciate them helping make all this possible. Without them, we wouldn't be able to have this show for you guys and be able to chat with everybody. So really appreciate them. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. We have at least one, maybe two fun videos planned for this week. So definitely check those out. And we'll see you guys later. Bye.